I'm sure most of you know about the situation in Afghanistan. It's going on right now. It's a humanitarian crisis. People are desperate. I'm from that country. Before that, I'm founder of the Girl Power organization, and also working with Right to Dream FC Nordsjælland in Denmark. I'm based in Denmark. In 1996, where Taliban took over my country, I was 8, 9 years old. They took the right of education from me, the right of working from my mom. Women were abandoned at home. We were not allowed to do anything, and we were vanished from the society just because we were women. We had to go to Pakistan as a refugee because we could not continue living in Afghanistan, where I started working together with my family. In my childhood, I entered in a labor market, working with bricks, together with my father and my mom, to manage to start the life from zero. I lived 8 years in Pakistan in refugee camps together with my family, where we were really fighting hard to survive. 2002, we returned back to Afghanistan with so much hope and dreams, because our country was some sort of freed from Taliban, and Taliban lost the control over Kabul, and the international community was there. There was a lot of great speeches about women's rights and human rights and protecting women's rights. We had all the countries in our country, and there was hopes and dreams. I started playing football because I wanted to contribute in society and actively, and I wanted to make women very visible in the country, in a community where people forgot half of the population. And I was young. As a teenager, I became an activist for women's rights and for my right as a human being to be part of the society. And nothing was greater than using the power of football, the power of a sport, especially football, that is known as a man's game. It's a very controversial, strong game, and of course it has so much fun. And I wanted to enjoy that. My passion come from very childhood playing street football. And I wanted to bring that power of the game in the society, in the community, so that more women and girls can enjoy. Because what I felt was the freedom when I ever was playing football. The freedom that you stop thinking about everything else and you focus football about the moments that you just think, the beautiful moments that happens on the pitch. You don't think what is happening off the pitch. That is what I wanted to also offer to other girls in my community. I started in my school, brought women's football in school. Together with my mom, who was my teacher, started a campaign to get more women and girls to start being active in society, because we wanted to change the mindset that Taliban created. They brainwashed people that women should stay home, stay in the kitchen, and they cannot come out. We wanted to come together as a women. We wanted to stand together and be united, and also to change the mindset, but at the same time, to tell the international world who are in our country, to tell them we are actively participating. You're coming in our country to protect us, we are participating actively. We are doing our job, so together we can build this country. It was not easy to bring the culture of sports, the culture of football, that we never had it in our culture. So many challenges we faced in our way. It was not easy. It was really difficult. Many times I was harassed. I faced so many challenges, and so many other girls who were on our team. But what we did as a team, we didn't give up, because our purpose was not playing football for the fun of the game, but standing for our right as a woman to also empower other women and men in our country, to change the mindset, to change the picture of Afghanistan that shows that women are weak and they're undercover. We want to show the different picture and also bring pride in our country. In 2007, we played for the first time in first national team of Afghanistan. For the first time in the history, nothing was more beautiful than wearing the jersey of the national team with the pride. Which after so long time war, really fighting with every individual, from man to women, everybody to tell them this is our right and it's nothing wrong to play football. Every day continuous fight to change the mindset. And finally, we got the right to wear the jersey of our country, to have the badge on our chest, and to stand together as a team and represent our country and hear the national anthem. That was the most beautiful thing in our life. I think if we were playing in World Cup and we were winning the trophy, the feeling was not that bigger than the best feeling when we first time stood up together and heard the national anthem and saw our beautiful flag waving with 3 colors, and the national anthem was played for us. We changed the history. We made history in our country. We stood up and we empowered. For us, in a country that has been for such a long time war, the mindset that people stand against each other, fighting against each other, especially male-dominated cultures that tell women to fight against each other because there's lack of opportunities. We want to change that mindset. We wanted to change that culture from using football again, to bring women together and tell them we cannot win anything by standing alone. We will win any war, any fight, if we stand together and united. And nothing is beautiful but bringing people together than football. That is my passion. Maybe there is also another sport that brings the people together, but my passion is football. And that has power. It has shown, it has proven. And that's how we got so many women and girls started playing football. For me, playing football in the first women's national team of Afghanistan, being the captain, representing our country, was not enough. I wanted to bring changes in structure, changes in decision making. I started working so hard to make to Football Federation of Afghanistan, where there was no woman in the history of Afghanistan Football Federation as a female employee. Nobody. But I wanted to have the voice of women in there. We wanted to have our voices, the voice that makes the decision for us. And after 3 years, continuous try, together with my team, I managed to get into the board of Afghanistan Football Federation, but also become as a leader of women's football in Afghanistan. For the first time in the history of Afghanistan Football Federation, a woman started working in a football federation. Imagine the organization with 100 people, employees, not even experiencing having a culture where they see women in the office. So how tough it could have been, that it is for women to work there. It was really difficult, and I was the youngest. I had to really work hard to prove myself, to work triple times harder than my colleagues to show that I'm capable and I have ability to work in Football Federation. I didn't give up. Every time I faced challenges, I didn't give up. And that's how we got first national team of Afghanistan. And then, see, here's my photo. Like, amongst all those beautiful men, that's standing me alone, a woman in Afghanistan Football Federation. development of women's football took place, and so many young girls, kids, started playing football. Football became part of our culture. You start from Kabul, from the capital, to different provinces. So many women and girls joined our forces, joined our sisterhood, a strong sisterhood to stand for each other and stand for our right to say we are half of the population. You cannot forget us, you cannot vanish us. More than 1,000 women started playing football. More than 10 people, 10 females started working in Football Federation. Imagine there was no women football. The jobs created because the fight was worth it. Many female coaches we have got on board, referees, all development took place. For me, being an activist, using football as a tool to empower women and girls, and then the second tool I have used was the media, to raise my voice and to encourage more women and girls to stand up for their right. In a very strict culture, in a culture that is, the man had the power on making decisions. It was not easy for both men and even women to see strong women standing in front of TV and saying, this is your right to stand for your education right, for right of participation in society, and the right to say no when they force you to get married with someone that you don't want to get married. And this is the voice that people, most of people, especially the powerful people in the country, they don't want to hear, and they don't want to silence. I continued working and using the power of football plus power of media. There was a tough time that I could not continue living in my country, and I had to go on exile. I had to leave my country overnight because there was a great death threat towards my life, but also for my family. I had to leave, but I didn't give up fighting for the right of people, my country, for inclusion and for active participation of women in my country. I went to live underground. My purpose was bigger, and that is what it has kept me to have the drive, to have the passion and the power to continue and not give up. I went to different countries, ended up in Denmark, luckily, and sought asylum. When I was in asylum center, I witnessed and experienced so many people's life in the asylum center where they are suffering from deep depression. They're forced to leave their countries like myself. And there was few occasions that we had few women that they were trying to suicide. For me, that was the moment to say, like, no matter where I am, my purpose is bigger and it's beyond Afghanistan. I took the ball and I said, this has the power to change, to bring happiness. And I used again sports, especially football, to include women and girls living in refugee centers that they were suffering from depression, to get them out of their rooms, the dark rooms that they were like curtains were down, they were depressed. And we had a similar feeling. When you live as a refugee in a refugee center, you feel that you're a doll hanging in the air. There is no sky you can fly, and there is no ground you can stand. You're just waiting for unknown future. You have no idea what will happen to you. It's just waiting time, and you don't know when is the deadline, when this waiting time will be over. That's where people go and suffer a lot from depression. And I was also suffering from deep depression. So the sports again helped me to overcome the challenges, but also to help other women and girls in the refugee center. When I got permission to stay in Denmark, I founded my own organization by the name of Girl Power. And through Girl Power organization, we use the power of education and sports, which comes hand in hand, to empower and include women and girls from all culture backgrounds. It's based in Denmark, and we have activities around Europe and also other countries. Meantime, I didn't give up working and also helping the women and girls in Afghanistan. I was very much involved, and even more involved in development than before, because I had the power and the network outside Afghanistan to bring all the resources and put it in Afghanistan to help the women of Afghanistan. I continued mentoring, supporting, becoming a program director for the national team of Afghanistan, where we got them sponsors, got them out to the training camps, because in Afghanistan they could not manage to have their training camps because of the security reasons. Everything was beautiful, things were working. In 2018, we had an occasion, an incident, a breaking moment, where we were talking about preparing for the World Cup qualification, where we hear the culture of abuse in Afghanistan, and some of our players were suffering from sexual abuse by the president of Afghanistan Football Federation, former president of Afghanistan Football Federation. The man who abused the power and sexually abused some of our young players. That was the fight that it turned from playing for the World Cup qualification to stand for the right of those players, to raise awareness, to also get our case to FIFA, to talk with FIFA, with different organizations, at the same time help our players to get out of Afghanistan because of the danger they faced. And these fights were not easy. And so many organizations like FIFPRO and other organizations helped us to be successful. The man of Football Federation got banned for life from football activities, and he also got fined. We continued working again. We were happy, the players were good, because for the first time we started talking about the culture that it was taboo to talk in our country. Women got their voices, they stood up together, they started talking a lot about changing the culture in Afghanistan. It all started with football and continued to empower more women and girls in Afghanistan. My activism continued, helping and empowering women and girls in Afghanistan and also around the world, using my voice to empower, to support the people who lost their voices, or because of this certain challenges that they face, they cannot have their voices. I always stood up and said, like, I want to be the voice for all the voiceless people, and I want to use the power of my voice to empower people, to stand for them. In August, when Taliban took over the country and the government of Afghanistan surrendered, that is where the nightmare came to reality. It was a nightmare because it was traumatizing for me. Through all I have been in my life, my childhood was repeating again because Taliban took over the country. Everything was happening in front of my eyes, and I was sitting in my home in Denmark following the news from my phone and being worried for every woman and girls in Afghanistan. And also for the generation of 20s that they never experienced their life under the regime of Taliban, the generation of dreamers, that's what I called. I started sending voice messages to my players in Afghanistan, asking them, how are you doing? With the hope that they have left Afghanistan and they are not in Afghanistan. What I received was the voice messages of young girls desperately crying and seeking for help, for protection, And they were crying that, what happened? Why this? What is our punishment? Why we are abandoned? Can we play football again? Can we be even allowed to go and watch the football pitch? Can we walk again on the football pitch? And I was sitting with all those messages, thinking about the dreams, the talks, all the players with the passion that they wanted to play for their country. And now the right of playing football has taken from them. And I didn't know how to help them. I say to myself, I know I have the power. I don't have the money to send a plane in my country to get the girls out, but I have the power, and that is my voice. I'm going to use my voice and use media again and tell the story. Why I'm worried, what is happening. I need help for my girls. To get them out because they are banded in Afghanistan. They need help because as I said in the beginning, the purpose of the Afghanistan women's national team, the foundation was built to raise our voices, to stand against the culture, against the ideology that says the women cannot participate in society and women have no right. We called Taliban as our enemies. And my players were saying, our enemies were there. It's outside. We can see it from the window. I have no idea what to do. Please help me, get me out, because I cannot sit in my room. I cannot live under this darkness. What is my sign? What I have done? What is the punishment? I started sharing why I'm worried. And then media picked that and started calling. And I did the interviews. My friends and different organizations and individuals from around the world, again, came forward and said, how can we help? The first organization, once again, it was not FIFA, unfortunately. It was FIFPRO. And we are not part of FIFPRO. We are even not member of. But they stood up. They came forward. They said, how can we help? And I said, I have no idea. How can you help? Because you're a football association. Our girls are stuck there. And we need a plane to get them out. And they said, we will help you. We will try our best. Let's find a way. Let's do something. And that's how we created a group, individuals living in the United States, in Canada, in Denmark, in Australia. We were working day and night. It was like continuous work. Didn't sleep. To apply for asylum, to contact the government, to get our players out. We were so lucky that we got a good group of people, the first women's national team, the senior women team, around 85 people outside Afghanistan when the plane were taken off from Afghanistan. One day before the explosion happened, we managed to get our players out of Afghanistan. It was the toughest to coach them, to tell them what to do, how to keep as a team together, to not give up. It's okay. It's okay if Taliban beat you. If it's okay you're stuck in Taliban checkpoint to manage to get to the airport. We just function as a team. We will be together as a team. They have been through a lot. 16 years old, imagine, she was crying and sending the voice messages saying, it's 3 nights now in a row that I have not eaten, I have not slept, and I'm so thirsty and I cannot stand. My legs are shaking and the Taliban is there and they are having the gun and the leash and I'm beaten. What can I do? And I was like, there is one way, and that's getting out. You stand together, we will manage to get out. We managed to get successfully out with the great support of people. The first team, now they are in Australia. Yes, it's a good start for them, but they have left their families behind. They're 16, 17 years old. They had to go through because they have done nothing. All they want to do, play football. The second group, I'll show you the photo here. This is the second group. The group of champions, they came from the province. Imagine like having the football in the capital, and it has developed to the province. In one of the provinces, they were the winner of the League of Kabul. And they were all flying, and what they were saying in this photo, that we thought that we have the wings and we can fly, and the first time we are taking the trophy home, we are changing the mindset. It's more than football to us. They were displaced, their houses were put on fire, they were on the street, they were desperately seeking for help and for protection. Again, with the great help of people, individuals around the world, and continuous work. I have not slept only a few hours until now to get them out. They are out and safe, but what is happening? There are more people, more of their friends and family members that are still stuck under the Taliban regime. What I want to say that here, sometimes we think we cannot do anything. We can do, because we as an individual, we have our voices. Our voices can be our power. If we want, we can participate, we can do anything we want, because we just need to understand what is our power. Is it our voice? Is it taking initiative to do something? Is it raising awareness? Use that power. And I was sitting in Denmark, I didn't know what was my power, and that I used my voice, and more than 350 or 380 left Afghanistan. That's how I used my voice. We all need to stand together, we all need to be together to change the world, or at least the life of few people, by using our voices, by using our platforms, by using our power. And let's question the governing bodies, what they do, and not let them to abuse the power. It is the time for us to question. If the World Cup is taking place in somewhere, we have to question. If the people, or if the governing bodies are not taking initiative to come on time, on board, we have to ask question. Why not? Because that is where we have our voices, and that's our power. Thank you so much for being with me. And I know I'm running out of the time, and I'm even not looking at my guy here. Thank you so much.